Creating a basketball super team isn't just about stacking talent on the roster. You're dealing with complex chemistry issues, mental adjustments, and rigid system requirements. Stack your lineup with all-stars, MVPs, and franchise players, and your biggest challenge won't be the opponent across from you. Your real enemy lives inside your own locker room. It's the battle between established patterns and new expectations.
Angel Reese grabs the board. Damn, says Caitlyn, get the out my way. uses her right forearm to shield Caitlyn.
These athletes arrive as the absolute kings of their home organizations. They're the focal points, the go-to options, the players who run everything and eat up the most possessions. But slip on that Team USA uniform and everything flips upside down. Now you're not the whole show anymore. You're one precise part of something much bigger. Making that jump from top dog to role specialist represents the hardest mental and strategic challenge in international competition.
That's right, she gives it to Caitlyn Clark. As she's giving it to Caitlyn Clark, De'Arica Hamby commits an offensive foul.
We're cutting through all the garbage today. Forget the manufactured drama about backstabbing teammates and locker room feuds. Reality TV storylines don't interest us here. High-level basketball breakdowns do. We're diving deep into one specific tactical problem that kept showing up during Team USA's recent exhibition matches. We're studying the tension between today's obsession with positionless basketball and the basic fundamental need for proper outlet passing. More specifically, we're breaking down transition flow issues between Angel Reese, one of the planet's most dominant interior players, and Caitlyn Clark, the deadliest fast break point guard we've seen in years.
It's crazy. The worst part of all this is that if Angel Reese just actually gave her the ball, things like this would be happening to her. She puts her hands up, and guess what? Caitlyn gives it back to her.
What's happening on the court isn't some manufactured rivalry. It's competing basketball philosophies crashing into each other, a complete breakdown in offensive structure, and a masterclass in why role clarity makes or breaks championship teams.
This right over here, we could go back 2 years, rookie season, in the All-Star game. Caitlyn Clark, Angel Reese running the floor together in the All-Star game. Boom. Attack the middle. There's Angel Reese. Defense collapses. Drop off. Angel Reese, bucket. I mean,
Understanding this tactical problem means first understanding how the modern big has evolved. Today's game has erased traditional position boundaries completely. Think about players like Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo snatching defensive boards and instantly launching fast breaks themselves. This grab-and-go approach becomes absolutely lethal when executed properly because it catches defenses before they can match up across the court. When your power forward or center pushes tempo, it usually forces a smaller defender to step up in transition, creating instant size mismatches.
The mistakes that you guys made was something that Puerto Rico was doing, or were some of them also a little self-inflicted?
I think it was mostly self-inflicted. I thought we missed some defensive coverages, and then I think especially with how much we fouled too, like it really limits us, especially in transition when we want to play fast. And, it's hard to push, especially off of the fake free throws or sitting in front.
It was obviously a big win by a large margin for Team USA, but what can you say about what you saw about Team Puerto Rico tonight?
Yeah, I thought they played with a lot of fire. I thought they were aggressive. I thought the crowd was incredible. Their fans were great, so it's a really fun environment to play.
It wasn't the best game offensively for you guys. What would you like to improve upon Italy coming up next?
Yeah, I think taking care of the ball is probably going to be our main focus. I think we could have moved the ball a little bit better. I don't know how many assists we had, but I thought we could have probably passed the ball a little bit better. I think about these games, the paint was really, really long, and we want to get easy finishes at the rim, but I think also getting the paint and be ready to take it out. I think that's what we do.
And would you say that it was due to Puerto Rico's defense or just offense not falling?
Puerto Rico did a great job, but also I think we can be better offensively.
Kara talked. Kara talked about doing different lineups, different rotations to test out that chemistry. Just how did you feel tonight, yesterday, with all those different rotations?
I think it's going to be a work in progress with everybody trying to kind of find the flow a little bit, especially when we're going 5 in, 5 out. But, you got to be flexible. That's kind of what USA basketball is all about. Some games you're going to play a lot, some games you're not going to play as much. You might come off the bench, you might start. So you got to be ready when you're small. But I think everybody's done a good job of that. And, we don't even know the starting lineup. We're in the locker room before the game. So you just get ready and go out and play. good?
Angel Reese brings incredible athletic gifts and has been expanding her outside game constantly. When she pulls down a rebound, every instinct tells her to put the ball down, attack in transition, and operate as a point forward. She wants to be the catalyst on teams where she handles primary ball duties. This approach might work perfectly fine elsewhere, but Team USA operates differently, and that player standing right next to her calling for the outlet isn't your typical point guard. Let's pause this play and examine the exact mechanics and tactical consequences of what just happened. The shot misses, and Angel Reese uses her superior positioning and strength to secure the defensive board. Instantly, Caitlin Clark moves into her sight line, hands ready, positioning herself as the natural outlet option. This represents perfect fast break fundamentals. Moving a basketball quickly never happens through dribbling, it happens through passing. Instead of making that basic, essential hit-ahead pass, Reese pivots away, literally blocking the ball from her own point guard, and chooses to start the break herself. From a pure tactical perspective, this decision becomes absolutely devastating. When a big like Reese pushes against an organized international defense, the pressure level stays manageable. Defenders stay composed because they understand that Reese, despite her dominance around the rim, doesn't carry the elite court vision or 30-foot shooting range of an elite guard. This allows the defense to calmly drop back, pack the paint, and protect the basket. The floor spacing completely collapses and every advantage disappears. Watch how this compromised spacing destroys the entire possession for everyone else involved. Let me be clear about something. Since Reese controls the ball, the timing for transition wings gets completely disrupted. Aja Wilson, an elite rim runner, sprints down court doing exactly what her coaches taught her. She's establishing deep post position early in the shot clock. If Caitlin Clark controlled the ball at half court, she would have read Wilson's movement instantly. Clark possesses this supernatural court awareness that lets her fire 50-foot passes with pinpoint accuracy, hitting runners in perfect stride before defenses can even react. But with the ball in a front court player's hands, someone processing the floor just a split second slower, that pass gets delayed. Wilson reaches her position, the pass never arrives on time, the defense recovers, and in her frustration trying to maintain position, Wilson commits a completely unnecessary offensive foul. The possession dies with a turnover. This isn't about bad intentions or selfish play. It's simple math showing us what happens when offensive hierarchy breaks down. To really understand how much offensive firepower gets wasted in these situations, we need to examine the alternative. We need to see what happens when tactical discipline gets maintained, when personal agendas get shelved, and when the mathematically optimal basketball decision gets executed. This is what basketball perfection looks like. Same exact players, but with roles properly defined. Notice how differently the defense reacts. The second Caitlin Clark touches the ball in the backcourt, the entire opposing team shifts into panic mode because Clark represents a legitimate threat to pull up from 35 feet. The primary defender must extend their pressure way beyond the three-point arc. They can't retreat into help defense. This undeniable magnetic pull stretches the defense to its absolute limit. Who benefits most from a stretched, panicking defense? Big players willing to sprint the floor hard. In this sequence, Clark immediately processes the defensive adjustment, surveys the court, and delivers a perfectly weighted pass right into her teammate's shooting pocket for an easy finish. The real tragedy in this whole situation is that Angel Reese should theoretically be the ideal pick and roll and transition partner for Caitlin Clark. Their skill sets don't compete with each other, they complement each other beautifully. Clark operates as the ultimate offensive catalyst, a player who manipulates entire defenses with her vision and passing precision. Reese functions as the ultimate finisher, a relentless physical presence who dominates catching the ball in motion and scoring through contact. We've watched this partnership work flawlessly before. We don't need to imagine what success looks like. Check out this all-star game footage. This is the exact blueprint. This is the formula that should have the rest of the basketball world terrified. Clark calls for the screen. Reese delivers a solid legal pick and rolls hard toward the rim. The defense, absolutely petrified of Clark's shooting range, sends two bodies at the ball handler. This represents a hard hedge or double team. By committing two defenders to Clark, the defense essentially surrenders the possession. Clark stays perfectly calm, recognizes the double team, and simply floats a soft, precisely timed pocket pass to the rolling Angel Reese. Reese catches the ball in motion, attacks the completely exposed rim, and gets an automatic score. It's basketball in its most pure, unstoppable form. It requires zero isolation dribbling, no forced individual heroics, and no point forward experimentation. It works entirely by pulling two defenders to the perimeter and exploiting the numerical advantage inside. It's basketball geometry at its finest. So what causes the breakdown? Why does a player like Reese, who can easily dominate by running the floor and catching passes from a generational playmaker, feel compelled to take over the transition game? This leads us to the most crucial element of national team basketball: coaching and clear accountability. Fixing this problem doesn't fall on social media critics, it doesn't fall on fan opinions, it falls directly on the coaching staff, specifically head coach Cheryl Reeve. Coaching at this elite level rarely involves teaching shooting mechanics or ball handling fundamentals. It's about establishing roles with crystal clear, non-negotiable precision. Reeve needs to bring these players into the film room, block out all external noise, and present them with cold, hard evidence. She needs to show them footage of grab-and-go attempts resulting in offensive fouls, destroyed spacing, and stagnant offensive sets. Then she needs to show them clips of proper outlet passes, creating wide-open layups, defensive breakdowns, and highly efficient scoring chances. The message must stay completely analytical and emotion-free. When we let our bigs start fast breaks, we average 0.8 points per possession, and our turnover rate increases 15%. When we secure the rebound and immediately hit our primary point guard with the outlet pass, our transition efficiency jumps to 1.4 points per possession. Statistics don't care about highlight reels. Numbers don't care about social media storylines. Data only cares about what actually works. Team USA isn't dealing with a talent shortage. They're experiencing a temporary breakdown in offensive structure. The beautiful thing about this issue is it's completely solvable. It doesn't require roster changes. It doesn't need dramatic personnel moves, and it definitely doesn't need manufactured storylines about jealousy and sabotage. It simply demands recognition that basketball is about maximizing every advantage available. Caitlin Clark's greatest strength emerges with the ball in her hands, reading a retreating defense in open space. Angel Reese's greatest strength shows up posting down low, controlling the offensive boards, and sprinting the floor like a locomotive to catch passes in stride. If this team can lock in that structure, if they can convince every player that the logo on the jersey front matters infinitely more than individual statistics, they won't just win games, they'll completely transform how international basketball gets played. They'll evolve into an unstoppable, perfectly coordinated system that destroys opponents with surgical efficiency. But if they keep blurring role definitions, if they let positionless basketball trends override the basic need for elite point guard play, they'll keep making games infinitely more difficult than necessary. The decision sits entirely in their hands, and the entire basketball universe is watching to see which direction they ultimately choose.